Hey everybody, it's Tuesday afternoon and we are heading back up to Graves Run to collect some more gravel for my native aquarium that I'm putting together. I went out the other day and I collected up some, and it's not quite enough for what I want to do, but I'm really happy with the way it looks. It looks absolutely fantastic in the tank. So I did get a couple of comments that I wanted to address, and since we're going out and getting some more of this stuff today, I figured we could talk about it a little bit once we get out on the water. I got a comment about how much silt and sediment I was bringing home with me, which I did bring some home, and we will talk about that. And then the other was a comment about using a spade or a shovel or something in order to collect up the gravel rather than my bare hands, and we will address that too, because both of these comments are actually kind of related into the way I sort of collect up the gravel. Make sure I don't hit anybody or their dog. And again, we'll talk about that once we get out on the water. I'll show you how I sort of swirl the water around, and that's what sort of lifts up the sand and moves it into the tank, you know, moves it into the bucket, so I'm not getting any large rocks. I'm also swirling a lot of the silt and sediment and stuff gets swirled out of the water right there at the stream before I even bring it home. So we're going to go over all that. Give me about 8 or 10 minutes to drive on out there, and I'll see you all down by the water's edge. All right, now when I was here the other day, I talked about the possibility of coming across some glass while I was down here in the water, and that is a possibility. And that is presumably why it was recommended that I use a trowel or a shovel or something like that. But typically when you've got a situation like this, any glass that's going to be freshly broken and still sharp and dangerous is going to be fairly superficial. Excuse me. What we're doing is sort of digging down into the gravel bed a little bit, and by the time you get down that deep, any glass that we might find down here is probably going to be river glass, which is going to be very rounded edges and that sort of thing. And so I'm not too worried about it, but it is a possibility. I'm aware of the fact that I may be setting myself up to get my fingers sliced or something here. So the first thing I'm doing is sort of just clearing away any larger rocks that are in my way, and then I can see right off the bat. And then I'm setting the bucket down, and you can see how I've already sort of cleared away a lot of the sediment that's on the surface. And then I'm not so much scooping the rocks up as I'm just kind of swirling the water around and kind of corralling them and herding them into the bucket. And then pour off the water. And then of course the next thing I do is go in and pull out any of the rocks that are going to be larger than I want anyway. And that's about as small. I want to go smaller than that. So that's definitely going. Now occasionally I will find a slightly larger rock that I think is pretty interesting, and I'll keep that in there. But for the most part, that is about what I'm going for. I hope I'm holding this in front of the camera right. It's hard to tell where it's pointing exactly. So that was one spot where I got some yesterday, and then over here where it's a little sandier and a little less rockier, the water tends to come out this way, and you can see where it's washed through there, and all the sediment and sand ends up over here. So there is a lot of sediment here. Let's start with a fresh area, and you'll see, look at all that brown, all that mulm and all that sediment and silt and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna swirl most of that out of the way, or a lot of that out of the way. And once we get some clear water, and once again, just go in and pull some of the bigger rocks out. And repeat. And so I'll do that several times, and once the bucket is too full to really keep doing it, I mean, you can only put so much in when it's lying on its side, we'll go back up to the truck, we'll dump some. I got a little tray up in the truck, we can put some in, and we'll come back and get a little bit more, and that should be enough. I don't need too much. All right. See, that is bigger than I like, but I really like the characteristics of it. It's a cool looking stone. It's actually got two different types of stone mixed together. It's some of this sort of tan colored brown stuff. I guess it's got a lot of quartz or something in it. We have a lot of this around here. I really like this stone. And then it's this, it's mixed with this stuff, which is this weird sort of silvery looking stone. And we have this all over the place here too. So when you got a stone that has some of this sort of blended in with that, it's a really cool looking stone. And that is exactly what that is. So that'll stay. So we're gonna go put this up in the truck, and I probably won't have to come down for too much more. I don't know if you can see all the little fishies swimming around out there. It's still quite a ways away from getting any fish in the tank yet, but we're getting a lot closer. So don't need to shoot any more video going back and doing what we just did, because it's just going to be more of the same. So I will leave you here. Again, we're just going to dump this out. And then I'm going to go get some more. So good looking stuff. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for this one. Nothing to do when we get back to the house except put it in some hydrogen peroxide and let it sit. So no point in getting all that on video. All right, everybody, we are actually not going to go straight home. I need a very specific type of rock for the new tank that I'm setting up. It's got to hide some construction material. Don't want to give away too many details just yet, but I've got a couple of bricks that are in the tank that are pretty unsightly. They look like a couple of bricks, and what I want to do is find a rock that is going to disguise them. Now, it's been a long time since I've been up here, so I think my trail is right down here. I'm not sure yet, but we'll find it. And my favorite rock hunting area is just down there. It's the same stream, it's just a little further upstream, and there's a lot of really good rocks in this one stretch. So give me a second, I'm gonna head strap back on and we will take a little hike down to the river. All right, now I suspect I parked a little bit further up than I should have. I think this is us right here. There should be a little monitoring test station down here. I'm in the right place. Can't imagine there being more than one little trail down here. Yeah, there's the test station. So this little stretch right through here is just full of good rocks. And if we go a quarter mile, maybe half mile up the stream here, it's actually some trout fishing up there too. So I haven't yet made it up there this summer. Maybe as the weather cools down a little bit, we'll try to get up there and do a little trout fishing at some point. Now, I suppose I could go with, can you see all that flowing in the stream and the current? Look at all that dark green cyanobacteria, algae stuff. I get that in all my tanks, or a lot of my tanks. I've never decided whether it's a species of algae or if it's a species of cyanobacteria. I think it's a type of algae. It looks like hair algae. You can see more of it right here. So I could either go with something that's a little too big, you know, something flat and prop it up in front of the bricks, which I really don't want to do. Or we can find something that's sort of square and brick shaped and then simply place it in front of the brick. And then you wouldn't see it at all. I guess I could also go with collecting up a bunch of smaller stones. Look at all these little tiny minnows swimming around in here. I could catch a bunch of those little things. I don't even know what they are. They might grow up to be bass for all I know. You know, I could also go with, you know, a whole slew of stuff like that and just make sort of a little pile of rocks in front of it. But the problem is I'm going to have a crayfish, or at least a crayfish, maybe more than one crayfish in the tank. And by doing that, it's going to be some digging and some disturbing. Got a whole school of little fish out there. I don't know what they are. They're either just regular old minnows, or they might even be baby bass. But it's a whole big school of them swimming around. I don't know if they came out on camera or not. Probably not. Anyway, I was really hoping I would see something that would really just grab my attention. That's not bad. It's not big enough to cover a whole brick, but it might cover part of the brick and then have something leaning against it this way or something. I don't know. That's not bad. We can probably take this one home with us. Try to get it in some sunlight. Not that it'll ever see some sunlight in my tank, but it's a pretty good looking rock. I like all the sort of clear, you can see into it. Again, it's going to get so covered up with grunge and stuff in the tank that you won't be able to see it at all, but it's still pretty to look at now. So we'll take this one home. Let's see. I've probably got enough rocks at the house that I could find something that would work with this. I don't want to keep going too much further up here. Once we get around the bend, there won't be a lot of rocks or anything anyway. You see, there was a big old tree sticking across here. I used to have to climb over. Look, you can see all them little dark spots. That's all that green algae or whatever it is. Again, I'm assuming that's that green hair algae. So if you ever wonder why I have stuff like this in my tanks, you can probably stop wondering. Well, this has definitely changed. This was not so fast flowing before. Let's see if I can get across here without getting my feet wet. See, here's another decent one. I can almost put them together. I don't know. That one wasn't talking to me. I don't know, I think we could do something with that. I like the way it's got this notch right there. That would be good for laying another rock against it. We'll definitely keep this one too. Ooh, I like these fungus. You see all the debris packed up against there. You know some serious water comes through here. All right, everybody, I think we're gonna call that good, unless I see something right here. I'm tempted to go up there. Actually, let's walk up and we'll have a look around the corner, because it's really pretty and scenic. And if you're still with me after all this time, then why not? See, this used to be dry. I used to be able to walk here without getting in the water. Oh, I'm glad I came up here, because that's another good looking one. It's small. Well, I don't know. It's got a lot of character. I'll try to remember I left that there. See, this is really weird. This is so different. These rocks right here used to have fish living under them. They used to be caves that were under the water. And now they've collapsed down and the water level is lower or something, I don't know, but those rocks, I used to fish under them. Well, that's a good flat one. Look at that. I don't know what I'd use that for, but that's a really good flat rock. It doesn't weigh much at all and will cover a lot of area. All right, let's do this. This used to be a nice little hole too. I used to pull fish out of here, and now it looks like it's almost empty and there's nothing in it. All right, everybody, you get the idea. That is some scenic prettiness. And the rocks just keep going and going and going. So we're going to call it good here. Had a little impromptu adventure. I am bringing home a couple of nice rocks. And of course we got our bucket of sand. I just saw a couple of little fish darting around in there, but they were little tiny ones. I don't know how well you can see or not, but these are all big rocks that are going up through there. We'll come back here again when the leaves start changing. Get a look at some really pretty scenic fall foliage and pretty colors. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to wrap this one up here. All I'm going to do is walk straight back to the truck and we will get out of here. I know you can't see it, but I can actually see the metering station right there, so we don't have far to go. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that one. I'll see you real soon in the next one.